you, Molly. Stephen A. Smith. Smithy, my man. I could not be any more crystal clear than how crystal clear I am about to be. ESPN needs to start talking about baseball, or these YouTube dudes, they're cringy. Guys like, what's his name, Jimmy O'Brien, John Boy, he just broke the entire story about the Astros, or this dude with the giraffe neck, what's his name, Giraffe Neck Mark, or that ugly kid Fuzzy. They're going to start passing us up, and we won't have a chance to start talking baseball. So, Stephen A., what do you say about that?
Please, just be quiet and listen, because let me tell you something, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I hope that you appreciate that intro. It took me some time. I fumbled over my words a couple times. It's because it's a little warm in my room. I'm wearing a long sleeve t-shirt, but I am trying to make an impression right now, a proper impression on the folks over at Disney. You guys might be thinking, yo, why Disney? Because Disney has not only acquired every single company in the entire world, Star Wars, they created The Mandalorian, so thank you for the Baby Yoda memes, but they also acquired ESPN. What does that stand for? I think it means the Entertainment Sports Programming Network. So it is known for being a sports network. Yet every time I seem to come across a video of theirs on YouTube, they've talked about three things. LeBron James, the Cowboys, or Tom Brady, and whether or not he is going to stay with the Patriots. And I am getting so sick and tired of seeing this. Now, to be transparent with you guys, and also if you want to be honest as well, I think that we can all agree that Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, Skip Bayless, they're all entertainers. They're supposed to do what their big ups tell them to do. So if they're told not to talk about baseball, they're not going to talk about baseball. But the fact remains that the only time that they've ever talked about it, they didn't even bring up baseball during the World Series and the playoffs when the Astros got busted and the baseball community was imploded because of a YouTuber, John Boy. Then they decided to talk about it because it was big enough news for them so that they could bring in anywhere from 700,000 to 1 million views on any given video, because it's not good enough for them if they get about 50 to 75,000 views on a baseball video. Now, granted, I understand that there's economics to everything. If it's not worth it to talk about a subject, you're not going to talk about it. But how can you not talk about Mookie Betts, a transcendent, once-in-a-lifetime, once-in-a-generation type player? ESPN talked about it, but their biggest show, First Take, between Stephen A. Smith, Molly Kieran, and Max Kellerman, they didn't talk about the Mookie Betts trade even for a single second. We go to a different network, Fox Sports. Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe did not bring up the Mookie Betts trade, but you already know that they talked about Zion Williamson, and Shannon Sharpe came on with his goat mask yet again. I've probably seen him do that 10 times. It was funny the first couple times. Now it's like, dude, are we going to talk about anything else in the sports media world aside from LeBron James, his son, his second son, Zion Williamson, his future son that's not even born yet, and everything else in between? I'm getting so sick of the fact that we're not talking about baseball on normal cable, because yes, there's MLB Network, but that's not free. I mean, I guess you have to pay for cable as well, but MLB Network is an additional premium per month if you want to go ahead and get that channel. So all I'm asking is I want you guys to let me know in the comment section down below. Are you okay with MLB Network? Do you think that they do a great job? I'll keep it real. I love MLB Network, but the fact is, I think it needs to be talked about more. Where's baseball tonight? The baseball season, even when it's in session, they're still not really talking about it. They give them like 30 minutes at the end of a day during the baseball season, and that's about it. There's no more John Kruk. There's no more web gems or really anything that really captures my attention as a young fan. That's the issue. Major League Baseball is not doing that well in attendance for a couple of different reasons. One, it's crazy expensive to go to a baseball game, but they are not doing a good job at capturing the youth and the viewers that are there waiting for them. I've met so many kids that love the game of baseball, and they just wish that they could get more consumption of it aside from YouTubers, because I feel like I do a really good job. I try to make it as digestible as possible, but I am not Stephen A. Smith. I am not Max Kellerman. Now, don't get me wrong. I love football. I love basketball. Now that Vegas has the Golden Knights, I've grown to have an appreciation for, hockey, and then I started to delve into soccer. I love all sports, but I think they need to put the S back into ESPN. It's not the LeBron show. It's not the Tom Brady show. And I'm getting so sick of the fact that if I know Mookie Betts, a once-in-a-lifetime player, gets traded from the Boston Red Sox, a top 10 sports franchise in all of sports, I'm going to say they're in the top 10 with the Celtics, the Patriots, the Yankees, the Cowboys, to another top 10 team in the LA Dodgers. and you don't talk about it one time, do you know how much this changes baseball going forward? The Dodgers now have the greatest lineup in Major League Baseball history, and that's with trading away Alex Verdugo and Jock Peterson. So that is something alone that we have to talk about. The Dodgers might actually be World Series favorites and be able to capture it in 2020 as opposed to choking. Like, I'm an Indians fan, I can tell you, the Dodgers choke just like the Indians. It's just something that we've become accustomed to. Mookie Betts can try and reverse that curse, and no one wants to say anything. Now, let's say Mookie Betts was traded to the Yankees. I'm sure that they would have found some way to do it because Stephen A. Smith is a Yankee fan. I think Max Kellerman is a Yankee fan as well. So if you're not talking about the big bad Yankees, no one seems to care, and that needs to stop. I don't know if we have to start a petition. I don't know if we have to support ESPN a little bit more when they do talk about baseball on their networks and on their YouTube channel, because I see the economics of it. I see that a video about LeBron James gets 400,000 views, and something about a random baseball article gets anywhere from 50, sometimes 35,000 views. So I understand that you have to do what's best. It's a business. But I was watching First Take a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. It was an older video, but I wanted to see what was their take on why baseball was not really consumable for ESPN anymore. Max Kellerman, I don't know if I can find the clip, but I'll try and recap it pretty easily for you guys.
A New York Giants fan may care about, the Los Angeles Chargers or the Rams, right? But they don't care about the San Diego Padres. It's just like you care about your local team and maybe their rivalry. You don't follow the whole league. And partly that's because of that, on shows like this, national shows, you don't cover baseball.
His assumption and his summation as to why they don't talk about it as much, and honestly, the fact that Mookie Betts was not talked about, that is just blasphemy, to quote Stephen A. Smith.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
But his reasoning was that baseball has become a local sport. So I was kind of confused of what he meant by that. So as he kept talking, he pretty much described that as baseball is a local sport because if I'm a Cleveland Indians fan, I'm only going to care about the Indians. If I'm a Dodgers fan, I'm only going to care about the Dodgers, and then the Yankees, and then people who live in New York with the Yankees, people in Boston with the Red Sox, people in Miami with the Miami Marlins, and then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're a fan of one team, he's saying that you're not going to care about any other trade or transaction or rumor or web gem or home run that is involved with any other team. And that is so far from the truth, but that's an insight as to how ESPN feels. ESPN doesn't talk about baseball because they feel like we as baseball fans don't care about big trades or web gems from other teams anymore. We only want to stick to our single club, and that's it. Whereas LeBron, everyone in the basketball world cares about LeBron because he's a Vogel, he is someone that he's a philanthropist, he's LeBron James, okay? Mike Trout, honestly, if he walks into a grocery store, I feel like everyone in that grocery store would know who LeBron James is, but maybe half of them, maybe a third, maybe even like 10% of them would know who Mike Trout is. And that's because baseball refuses to accept the fact that we are now in a social media age and we have to promote the game better than what it currently is being promoted, because they've gotten on TikTok, great. They've gotten on Instagram, which is awesome. And they're starting to get a hold of the YouTubers, which is awesome. And I'm going to give them full props for that because I think that YouTube is doing a great job at promoting baseball. I think baseball is coming around because of what we're doing here. And the last ditch effort that we need is ESPN to really turn the corner and at least attempt to start talking about baseball, even if it's not the little things, baseball on a daily basis, but the World Series, we got to talk about it. Mookie Betts, Paul Goldschmidt, Manny Machado, Aaron Judge, James Paxton going into surgery. These are things that I feel like baseball fans would love, even if it's a 5-minute clip on First Take right before you're about to talk about Tom Brady. That's all I'm asking for. I don't think it's a big deal. Again, I'm not worth $4 or $5 billion. I'm not Disney. I do not have a boss. I work for myself. So I get to dictate my thoughts, my reactions, my opinions, everything else in between. So that's my pro, but there's also some cons to being Stephen A. Smith because he does have a boss. He does have to represent ESPN and Disney as best as he can. So if they say don't report on baseball or we don't have any topics for you, that's the story. You're not going to try and filibust and do your thing, even though Stephen A. Smith is getting paid like $8 to $10 million. He's the face of ESPN. He has a job to do. I understand that. It just makes me really upset, even though I like LeBron James, even though I like Tom Brady in football. If I want to watch MLB, I have to go to MLB Network, but if I don't have cable, if I can't afford it, I am pretty much screwed. And unless you have cable, I mean, you're not going to watch ESPN. So, I mean, they're not going to do it on CBS. They're not going to report it on Fox or anything. Maybe Fox Sports, but even then, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp just don't seem to care about baseball. And same with Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith. So, I'm just really depressed about the fact that Mookie Betts gets traded from the Boston Red Sox to the LA Dodgers, and four sports analysts that are so prominent, millions and millions of followers and fans under their belts, are not able to talk about it. And it really just makes me upset. I love the game of baseball. I wish that it was something that's bigger. Maybe I'm just biased. Maybe I'm not coming to grips with the fact that baseball is no longer America's game. I see it. Basketball and NFL are way bigger, but I just don't know what to say. So guys, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you make of ESPN? What do you make of Fox Sports? I would have to say that even though I watch them every so often, getting the LeBron report and the Tom Brady report, it's got to get old. So hopefully when the baseball season returns, if anything crazy happens, if the Astros players come out and apologize, if, let's say, Francisco Lindor is traded, I hope that they cover it for the sake of baseball and promoting the game as best as we can. So thank you guys for watching. I know today was a little bit of a different video, but it was weighing heavy on my heart, and it was I waited the entire day to see if they talked about it, and they didn't. So time to call them out, but at least you guys can either disagree or agree with me. Is baseball relevant anymore? I think it is. I'm trying my best to make it relevant, and I will try until the day I am no longer able to. So thank you guys for watching. We are on our way to 200,000 subscribers. If we can get there before opening day, I'll love you all forever. Let me know. This is blasphemy. Blasphemy! That's Stephen A. Smith if you guys don't know. I'm sorry. I gotta go get a snack and water now.